Hey everyone, Alon Mizrahi here. This is the Mizrahi Perspective and welcome. Today I am amused. I am thoroughly amused today because what we saw yesterday from Netanyahu and Trump was really one of the most hilarious moments in international diplomacy I have seen in a long time. It was just funny. It was comical. It was pure comedy. And I know that many of you don't feel this way, but I'm going to explain to you my point of view, my Jewish Arab anarchist point of view, and I'm sure many of you will get it. You will get it. But in essence, what we saw yesterday was two old, irrelevant men, old and irrelevant men. Yes, this is what I call Netanyahu and Trump. And I'm going to back up everything I say in a second. We saw two old, irrelevant men stranded on an island of their own stupidity and impotence, sending a letter or writing in the sand an SOS directed at Hamas. Netanyahu and Trump yesterday were actually practically begging Hamas to come in and save them from the defeat Hamas gave them. This is what we saw. Now, before I break this down, and why this was really an SOS for Hamas to step in and save Netanyahu and Trump, and save the US and Israel from their own stupidity, from their own vicious, wicked, evil choices. There's one point I have to stress. There's one point I have to stress. I want to start with this. People don't realize and don't appreciate enough the amount of manipulation and psychological warfare that is being waged against them. And every time that people treat what they see on their screens as literal truth, as something that really happened and represents the meaning that it's supposed to represent, you are being messed with. Your mind is being messed with. You have to realize that you are dealing with masters of deception and psychological warfare, and this is their main effort. This is the main thing that they do. Okay? They don't run things. They run your mind. They run your consciousness and your perception. And when they present a frame to us, a picture, an event, an occurrence, we should never agree to look at it with the gaze they want us to have and they expect us to have. And this is very relevant now when I'm talking about what happened yesterday and what we saw yesterday. Why is it all of a sudden that Netanyahu and Trump, two old irrelevant men, who are at the end of their careers, of their failed, miserably failed lives, both men are serial failures in everything they tried in life. Everything they tried is a failure. They are only successful in a fake, manufactured image. Everything they tried was a failure. Everything they try now is a failure and is going to fail. But why is it that suddenly, at this point, after 2 years, openly supporting and advocating for genocide and Holocaust and telling us this is good and wonderful. After 2 years, the US is vetoing at the United Nations Security Council every attempt to stop the massacre. After 2 years, Netanyahu is driving everyone nuts with his lies and deceit and manipulation and stratagems every day, every single hour of every single day. Why is it that after 2 years of this, these two old irrelevant men are suddenly meeting and making a big celebration and a big spectacle of a peace deal, a peace offering? What happened? Did Trump and Netanyahu become peaceniks? Now they are flower boys, pacifists. They want peace. Since when? Peace with whom? Peace for what purpose? How come? What is this sudden peace impulse? I have to rein in my eyebrows so they don't take over the whole thing. Well, the answer is simple. These two con men, you have to remember, Trump and Netanyahu are not leaders. They are not statesmen. They are not even politicians. They are actors. They are soap opera actors and reality TV actors and hosts. They are not leaders. They act. It's all an act. It's all a show. We shouldn't judge what we're seeing as political action. This is reality TV. This is the right way to look at it. They are trying to entertain their audience in a very sick way because they are sick people. Failed, sick people. This is what they are. But this is the prism. This is how we should look at them. What happened was, Trump and Netanyahu are looking at the landscape around them, and all they see is failure. The US has lost the war it has waged on Palestine, on Hamas, on Gaza. Israel has lost the war and is losing the war every day. Every day, Hamas is still killing, maiming Israeli soldiers. The world has turned against the US and Israel to a staggering degree. To a staggering degree. Yesterday I had this fun calculation in my head where every day that this goes on, 1 million more people, a literal 1 million more people become pro-Palestine and anti-Israel and anti-US, including Americans. If this goes on for 700 days and change, or 750 days, 750 million people around the world have become pro-Palestine and anti-Israel to this degree or to the other degree. This is the reality. Western countries are recognizing Palestine, including the UK, France, and Germany is being pushed to do the same. And they are being pushed by their own people, not by the vampirical, blood-loving, blood-sucking Western elites. They love child murder. They love child murder. They relish it and enjoy it. The pictures that break us give them pleasure and joy. The bankers, the CEOs of the big corporations, the big media people, they love it. They love it. The tech moguls, they love it. They love it. They want this to continue forever. Forever. They want to see their children forever, every day. This is their joy in life. But the people hate it. The normal people hate it. And they hate it more and more and more every day. So this demonic alliance between the US and Israel, dedicated to Holocaust and child murder, is losing. They cannot even defeat Hamas after 2 years of 5 Hiroshimas or 10 Hiroshimas by now. Hamas is not defeated. The Houthis are not defeated. Hezbollah is very quiet, but I believe it is also not defeated. It is definitely not defeated. Iran is definitely not defeated. So what have they gained? They spent maybe trillions. They spent hundreds of billions of dollars to be hated and mocked by humanity. This is not just hated and mocked. This is millions of people who feel committed, actually committed as their creed in life, as their core beliefs in life, to fight Zionism and to fight US imperialism. This is not just just a passing pain. This is almost like a new religion for hundreds of millions of people around the world who will hate Zionism till the day they die. I will do whatever they can to isolate and harm Zionism and Israel because of what they have done. So the whole front is crumbling for these two old irrelevant clowns and showmen and conmen. Everything is crumbling. And the US is accumulating losses. It has lost in Ukraine. Now it has lost the entire international community. After 2 years of vetoing every decision to stop the slaughter of children, fucking 2 years. Inside the US, inside the Republican Party, inside the Democratic establishment, the walls are cracking and breaking and coming down. We are seeing more and more candidates running for office saying, I am AIPAC free. I'm not receiving money from AIPAC and I will not receive money from AIPAC. Inside the MAGA movement, people are turning on Israel. A transgender-loving left-winger murdered Charlie Kirk. This is the story we've been told. And still, the American public is not swayed to start hating transgenders and left-wingers. They despise Netanyahu. They hate Netanyahu. The same people their political elites are addicted to and enjoy the humiliation he gives them every day. The American people are increasingly hating. And Washington knows that. Netanyahu knows that. Trump knows that. They all know it. They can see it. They can see it. The picture is undeniable. So they are losing this war on every front. They are losing the war on every front. They are losing Europe. I mean, completely. Europe is breaking away from them in a big, major way with sanctions, with real action, with the recognition of Palestine, with serious threats of what they're going to do if Israel dares to annex the West Bank. This is why Trump is saying, I won't allow it. It's because the Europeans and the Arabs, and I have something to say about Arab leaders. Trump doesn't give a fuck about Palestinians in the West Bank. He couldn't care less about them. He would build a casino over their graves. But now the international situation is such that he can't do it. Israel is truly besieged. Despite its immense power and influence and sway, Israel is being sieged. It is losing the war. It has already lost the war because this is not winnable anymore for Israel. Militarily, this is not winnable. Diplomatically, this is not winnable. But these two con artists can never admit defeat. They see what's happening, but they can't say, we fucked up. We are stepping down. This is over. The show is over. Now we're going to let real people, normal people, take over and try to fix this mess that we created. They are not going to do something like this. So what they're doing, and this is what we saw yesterday, and this is why it was so funny. They're trying to take this immense, expensive failure, political, moral, diplomatic, forever failure. No one is forgetting this in 50 years. We are not going to forget this. No one is forgetting this. I'm telling you, no one is forgetting this in 50 years or more. As long as we're alive and our children are alive, the Gaza Holocaust will not be forgotten. And the vetoes the US applied at the United Nations Security Council will never be forgotten. And the arms shipments are never. That's it. This is forever. Now they are starting to realize this failure, and what they try to do as con men is to take this mega failure, which is about to crush them and crush their countries and their systems. The entire Western colonial system is breaking over this. And they are trying to repackage this as a victory. This is what we saw yesterday. Do you get it? They are trying, because they are showmen and because they are entertainers and actors, they are trying to create the fake impression that they are winning and they are offering peace from a position of strength, but they have no position of strength. They already lost. They already fucking lost the war. This is what's so funny. And this is my point. This is my point from earlier about people believing what they're being shown. Don't fucking believe it. It's a show. It's reality TV. It's performance. It's fake. All of it is fake. It's produced just like TV. This is a movie. Believing what you're seeing on Western media and news is like believing a movie, like going to the cinema and believing that what you see is real. It's the same thing. This is nothing. This is showmanship. This has no meaning. The reaction should be on the part of people who are in the resistance, of people who resist and reject and hate what Israel and the US are doing, is to double down and bring more energy and more resolve to bring this home, because we are inches away from a historic victory. Palestine is inches away from a historic victory over Zionism. Inches away. This is why they are pushed now to make this stupid offer. Because they are sensing the defeat is going to become formal very soon. Very soon. Members of the Labour government in Britain yesterday voted to call this genocide and to call upon their, I don't want to call them names, their prime minister and foreign minister to start calling this genocide. Britain is lost. Britain is lost. France is lost. They are not coming back to the genocide. They can't. They can't. And the cultural resistance has only begun. The cultural reverberation of what's going on, the implications, the consequences. This has huge consequences for everything. This has only begun for education, for entertainment, for media, for sports, for everything. This is going to change. This is going to change the world. The Gaza Holocaust and the reaction and what people saw and realized. The impact has only begun, including in the US. And they are trying to repackage this as an achievement and portray themselves as winners, victors, offering something to Hamas when actually they are calling on Hamas to step in and save them. They are asking Hamas to say, you come and control Gaza. You come and control Gaza. We will not fight you anymore. We accept the occupation. You are good, peaceful people. Do you think Hamas is going to fall for this? Do you think Hamas is going to fall for this? And even Arab countries, Arab leaders who grovel and sell themselves out in really a despicable, disgusting way. They cannot do this forever. They cannot do this forever. They cannot do this with no limits. Things are happening. People are seeing. People are waking up. It is not the same world as it was 2 years ago. And the biggest trick that they have played on all of us, that they have played on humanity, the biggest trick, and many people fell for this and still fall for this. The biggest trick that they have pulled and the biggest deceptions are the things that they try to establish as self-evident, as transparent. The things they don't talk about because they are supposedly obvious. They are the biggest deceptions, the biggest lies. And what I'm talking about in this context is the very fact of a negotiation between Israel and Hamas. The very fact that there is a negotiation and there is this process, and they keep telling us about this process and how it should be and what should be the conditions and how it should be handled and what should be the requirements and what they said and what they said. This is the biggest deception. This is the biggest deception. Because victims of aggression should never be expected to have a negotiation with their abuser. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. This would not be applied in any other context. In any other context in life, this travesty would not be applied. Victims of no other genocide would be expected to have a negotiation and to reach an agreement with the people who are murdering them. And the whole world is cheering this, like this is normal. Why are Palestinians expected to negotiate with Israel? What is there to negotiate? What should there be except a clear demand to Israel to stop this now? Or else, stop this now, or else. This should be the only voice that Israel hears. You stop this now, or we cut off all ties. You stop this now, or you'll be faced with military consequences by a League of Nations. What do you mean negotiations between the parents whose children are being mass murdered every day and the people who are murdering them? This is the biggest trick they have pulled on all of us, on all of humanity. The clear demand, the clear voice that should come out of the resistance, we are the resistance, we are the cultural resistance, should be a complete negation of any idea of negotiation between Israel and Palestinians. Israel should not be allowed to come near the Palestinians, not in Gaza and not in the West Bank. A Palestinian should never be made to speak to an Israeli unless they want to. The people who should force Israel to stop what it's doing is the international community. It's the cultural resistance, the diplomatic resistance, and the military resistance. These are the only people Israel should hear from, and these are the only people Palestine needs to be supported by. No fake negotiation. The idea that people undergoing genocide will negotiate with their genociders is just so obscene. It is just so obscene. Still, this has been sold to us in a very cunning way as something transparent that we don't talk about because it's obvious that this is how things work. This is not how things work. We should insist on this. We should always look at the stuff they don't show us and they don't talk about. This is my whole point. They will show us a frame and tell us this is reality. But this is not reality. This is a manufactured, directed part of reality that is always deceitful, is always a lie. And I want to end this video today with something about Arab leaders and something about the entire global South. This is all of us, and I'm part of it because I'm Arab, an Arab Jew, but an Arab nonetheless. We have contracted a sickness. And I'm talking about the Qatari government and the Egyptian government and the Saudis and all of them. But this is about all the global South. The entire part of humanity that has been oppressed and brainwashed and confused by white Western colonial imperialism and Western culture. And the disease that we contracted is a very dangerous form of inferiority complex. This is something we have to fight ferociously because this is now our only obstacle to victory. This is not the West. This is our own mind. The fact that Arab leaders don't know how to say to Americans, this is it. This is a line you do not cross. You have no say here. I am done with you. This is the result of an inferiority complex. They don't see themselves as equal. They want to be American. They want to be liked by Americans. This is the sickness, especially among global South elites. and people who have it better in life. They want to be Americans. They don't want to be Lebanese. They don't want to be Arab. They don't want to be Egyptians. They don't want to be Indians. They don't want to be Chinese, maybe. They don't want to be any of these groups of people. They want to be American. They want to be American. So they adopt this mentality of inferiority and need to always please the colonizer and get their approval and be patted on the shoulder by the colonizer, by the white colonizer. They need their approval. They cannot move an inch. They cannot initiate. They cannot make a stand. This is our biggest problem. This is at this point a bigger problem than Western colonization itself. Our minds have been colonized, and we are not free. And this is not someone else doing this to us. This is us doing it to ourselves. And this is the shameful behavior you see among Arab leaders. This is not because they are afraid, because they are intimidated. Hamas is more afraid than intimidated. Palestinians are more afraid than intimidated, yet they do not agree to be mentally colonized. Many of them. This is what saves them. This is what saved them to this day. Despite everything that we have seen. But this sickness that we have in the global south, that we don't want to be this, what we see, what we are being trained to see as ridiculous, as inferior, as less. We don't want to be brown people. We don't want to talk like brown people. We don't want to sound like brown people. We don't want to be Arab. We don't want to be Indian or Pakistani or whatever it is, because we see this as inferior. And our whole psychology is organized around trying to please the colonizer. Even when the colonizer is not there, this is the voice inside our head. This is where we are now. And we are seeing voices in the global south. We are seeing the Anwar Ibrahim, the fantastic prime minister, Malaysian prime minister, who doesn't have this complex. He has dignity. He can make clear demands, and he can take a clear stand. But so many leaders and so many public speakers and celebrities in the global south don't have this ability. All they want is to become American and be seen as American and wash off the native or indigenous identity, because they see it as dirty. They see it as unbecoming. And this is a huge problem. This is something we have to talk about. This is something we have to fight all the time. Our minds have been colonized, and this is true not in a different way, with a different shade of reality. This is true for many people in the West, who have internalized the sense of inferiority and the sense of a lack of agency for other reasons, for class reasons. They believe they shouldn't have a voice. This is very American, for instance. They believe they shouldn't have a voice, and they can't have a voice because they are not rich. They have been brainwashed into thinking that having a political voice and having your voice counted is only for very rich people. And if you're not rich, there's no point in even speaking out. And there are many other examples of this, but the self-colonization as a continuation of external colonization, this is one of the biggest problems we are facing now. We have to free ourselves of this sickness. And Arabs especially, because so much now depends on the behavior of Arab people and Arab leaders. They should not be afraid of speaking out clearly, and this is all you have to do. This is all you have. You don't have to go and fight and bomb and become a soldier or a terrorist or a resistance fighter. But you have to speak clearly. You have to describe reality truthfully. You have to insist that your mind doesn't get colonized, that you deserve freedom and equality no matter who you are, where you come from, what is your background. You deserve freedom and equality, and you deserve to be treated like a human being. And never be afraid to express this position, this stance. Never be afraid to express it. No matter what forces you're facing, they are never as strong as they present themselves. They are never as strong as this. This is always involved in deception and intimidation and psychological warfare like they're doing to us now. With all the fake proposals, fake declarations, fake announcements, fake everything. Don't believe it. Know who you are. Know what you stand for. Fight harder for equality and dignity for all. That's it. Everyone else and everything else can go fuck themselves. That's all for today. And I'll see you in the next Mizrahi Perspective video.